everybody. Welcome. Little activity we got going here today while we take some calls. Before we get into that, hello. Thank you all for being here today for what will be our final call-in show of the year. Song you're hearing in the background is my new track called Ghost. Go stream it if you haven't yet. We are streaming live today. Some of you know, some of you don't know. If you're new here, you can call into today's show. It's literally as easy as using the Zoom link that is pinned to the top of my chat. I will even post it again in chat right now so you can all find it. And what do we do? Like, what is the purpose of the call-in show? Well, really, I just want to hear from you all about your upcoming 2022 goals. New Year's resolutions you might have. Let's talk through the idea of goal setting. Maybe if you're unsure about some of your goals, or even if you want to reflect on how you did on some of your 2021 goals. I would love to hear that from all of you. So call in on the Zoom. We already have a few people in the waiting room, which is an important point to bring up. Once you click that link, don't worry, you're not like immediately on the stream. You're put into a waiting room. I bring people in one by one. It's audio only, so it's like super chill. You don't have to worry too much. Don't be shy. I know people sometimes feel a little stressed about calling in, etc. But like Dua, who just entered the chat, says, guys, I'm new here. Can anyone explain how the call-in show feature works? Hopefully that was a good explanation. You click the link, you get put in the waiting room. I bring people in one by one and we chat about the topic at hand. We're not really going to talk about like gear and all that stuff, or like how to change your settings in Ableton Live. That's not the purpose of the call-in show. It's not a technical support show. It is just to talk about some of these motivating factors. And today, with the new year and the holiday coming up, I want to talk about your goals. So hello to everybody in chat. Who's here? Bishop91 is here. Matt Renzetti, thank you to all my members, by the way. Everybody with that cool little badge next to their name is a channel member. Shem G, Resin Rose, Katie Cat, hello. Orbit, White, Nothing Pretty About Synth. My mom and dad are in the chat. Yes, sir. Zane, hello. Thank you for being here. Rashane, you got that fire emblem next to you. That's amazing. Happy holidays to you, Rashane. Chosen Waves Music, good afternoon. Scary Prank Hunter, hello. Very scary. What did I just do? I just triggered Apple Music somehow. We don't want that. Peace and love. Who did I miss? Joshua Demers, 77 Social. Oh my gosh, Apple Music wants me to do everything. Sarah is in the chat. Hello, Sarah. The Ozone Chamber, JC Davila. Now I lost chat. Where did you go? Unmarked Vans. I'm sorry if I miss you. Ed Oyama's in the chat. Thank you for being here. Thexless. Hello, Suru. Kirky is here. Folks, I see some new names in the chat. Hello. Thank you. If you're new here, if this is your first call-in show, I really appreciate you being here. I would love to also hear from you in the call-in show if this is your first show. I love hearing from new people, and I also love hearing from returned people. We do have some people patiently waiting in the waiting room, and I'm going to start bringing you all in. But while we do today's call-in show, I kind of decided this like last minute. Originally, I had this idea a while ago, but I just decided like 5 minutes ago that I was actually going to do it. I got my 404 here. And I also have a bunch of stickers. And I think while we take the calls and while we chat, I'm going to customize the 404. Is that fun? Is that an exciting group activity? So you'll answer the questions we ask you in YouTube chat. Well, I'll take some questions, yeah, from chat, of course. Oh, Ed Oyama back on the membership account. We love that. Fire emblem. A lot of people with the fire emblem. By the way, chat, I'm going to switch this back to live chat because I think I was wrong. Wesley, hello. Thank you for being here. Dropping that call-in link one more time for all of you while I start taking the calls. I know more calls come in after I've taken some because people feel more comfortable after they've heard a few. What was I going to say, though? Oh, yeah, we're going to decorate the 404. Members. If you are a member and you have that cool badge next to your name, remember that you have a member milestone chat once a month. If you hit that super chat button, you basically get like a free super chat. So if you haven't used it up yet, go ahead and use it. Let's kick things off with Brent Bishop, otherwise known as the Drunk Bishop. Let's get our first call going. And I will start working on the 404. Mr. Bishop is connecting to audio. Hello,
Hey,
Mr.
can you hear me?
Bishop. I can hear you loud and clear. How are you today? Thank you for calling in.
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing today, bud?
I am doing great. You know, it's a bit of a mad rush. You know, with the holidays coming up, you want to like finish up everything you got to finish up so you can take a nice vacation. I don't know if you have the same vibe like with work and stuff.
Man, so my thing is last minute Christmas shopping right now.
Oh, yikes. Yes, I have been in that boat before.
Yeah, and it's for my mom, and I don't really know anything about women's stuff, so
That's stressful, isn't it? You want to get like something good for your mom, but like you're
mhm.
clueless. Like I feel that.
Yeah, I'm wandering around the store looking at everything, and I'm like, it kind of gets a little awkward too, because you're like, you're in the sleepwear, and you're like, I promise this, I'm buying this stuff for somebody. It's not for me.
Well, peace and love. It could be for you. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. So what if it is, right?
Exactly.
Um,
I would love to hear about your thoughts on the upcoming new year, 2022. What are you thinking about? Got some goals? And also, if you want to reflect a little bit on how your goals went for the previous year, I would love to hear that.
Sure. So, first of all, I've definitely learned a lot this year because this year is I guess you could say my first official year sitting down, taking the stuff seriously, and calling myself, a producer.
That's awesome.
And
Congrats on that.
yeah, thank you. Well, I owe pretty much all of that. Watching your videos, the old stuff, is what kind of sparked all that, I guess. And I just always hung out here since because your stuff always makes sense, the way you put things and the way you don't put people down when they don't really get what you're saying.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, so I guess my goal for this year was just to learn as much as possible and to get involved in other communities that are doing stuff just like you.
I feel that. Do you
And
feel like the communities like help push you forward?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I've said this before, but like, there's a very much a run with the herd mentality where
Totally.
I just want to keep up and do what everyone else is doing. Kind of, I see somebody going for, an album release or something, and I'm like, I want to release a song, or
Absolutely. Yeah. Like it's just very motivating. I mean, that's one of the things that's one of the things like if you're not going to go to like a traditional school, which we all know my thoughts on that, but like that's one of the benefits of that is like the network and then everybody's like grinding and you're around it all the time, so it pushes you to do more. So I'm glad that we can kind of reform that same perk but online, without the 30 grand in debt, for free.
well, and I mean, I remember that stream where you talked about that. That's it. It really resonated with me because, man, I don't want to say bullied, but like a lot of people talk down on you that have paid for.
Absolutely.
It's almost like, hey, man, I paid $100,000 to do all this, so I'm just gonna uh, talk down to all the people that didn't do that.
Right.
So I feel good about getting got almost. Like not
Absolutely.
quite, but so anyway, it's like I just never liked that, man. It was just such a stank attitude, and I just didn't want to pay for everything that it's like you said, like I don't want to take a math class. Can you just teach me about
Exactly.
like how to make this stock? Because I'll tell you one thing: I've never met somebody that's graduated from any of those that came out knowing exactly how to do what they wanted to do
That's what
in the
it
first
is,
place.
man. Yeah, that's the beauty of online is like you're not going to go to one place and learn all the things you need to know regardless of quality. Like even with my channel, like you're not going to go to my channel and learn everything you need to know. But
Of
online,
course.
you can do like a combination of all the things you need to know and suddenly you have this like amazing collection of knowledge from all these different sources that are a lot of the times free. So we love that.
Right, and all you have to do is be resourceful and do some due diligence. I mean, a lot of the things that you talk about are very like empowering. Like, hey, maybe reformat how you're thinking about this question, and then
Right.
you could just literally type that into Google or go
Exactly.
to these
Yes.
communities where and see people already talking about it.
I'm so glad you said that because that is always my goal of the channel. And this, I mean, kind of gets into goals. I want to keep doing this over the next year is like continue to what you said, like empower people. Like I would love it if at some point you all didn't need my channel anymore. You know what I mean? Like you didn't have to watch one of my tutorials one day because you figured out how to do something yourself. Maybe you come back to the channel because you enjoy it, but not necessarily because you need any type of like hand holding. That is my goal. Make it so that you can figure out your problems yourself rather than look for a YouTuber to hand you the solution to the problems. But that's enough about me and what I think. What about your 2022? What are you thinking about? What's the big goal? It seems like 2021, big year for you in like building, and now moving into 2022 seems like you got some big goals.
Yeah, I will say, jumping off of the inspiration from you thing, I kind of want to. Well, I don't kind of want to. I'm gonna start streaming next year,
Oh, I love that.
and I really just want to get into it. I feel like I could maybe get along with a lot of people.
Sure.
I'm not really too rough around the edges, and it just seems like fun, man. I see Andre Von Zark doing it every single day on Twitch.
Crazy.
That guy is on there every day with a 2013 MacBook, and I'm like, oh man, if this guy can sit here and do this for like 2 hours every day, like I kind of want to do this sometimes, and maybe
Right.
get myself out there a little bit, and just grow a community similar to yours and keep feeding that machine,
Absolutely.
and promoting a lot of people that are feeling doubtful about themselves and stuff, kind of building each other up.
Totally. Do you think you want to
um
focus on music on those streams? Like making music?
yeah, that's so a lot of people know I got this new machine.
Heck
uh
yeah. You've been rocking on that thing.
yeah, I mean, I love it, and it's I think that's really kind of where I want to take things. Is I want to sort of show people how to finger drum the way I do, I guess.
Nice.
Because I see a lot of how to's, a lot of tutorials, but I kind of want to grow my own community for that, and sort of show people like, hey, you can play a hi-hat, a kick, and a snare at the same time, and it's most of that is practice, honestly. But
Of course.
there's some little rudiments and stuff, some, what do I practice all day, and stuff like that I want to share. But
Right.
the big thing is back and forth with the the crowd you're working with, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's the amazing part of streaming is like the real time interaction for sure.
Yeah, I think that's where I do best, is like, honestly, if somebody sparks a question or something, and then I'm better at riffing on stuff like that, you know what I mean? As far
Totally.
as sitting down and staring at the camera goes, because it's hard making a video and talking at the camera.
Yeah, I mean, both present their challenges, streaming versus videos. But the nice thing about streaming is, well, for when I'm shooting a video, like you want to get it right. So you say things more than once, you do lines multiple times, you explain something maybe a second time, but more clearly. With live streaming, in the way that it's just more conversational and the fact that it is live, you just keep rolling and it's just like a little bit more natural. So, like, in that way, I kind of like. I do love making videos, but I also love just the almost more laid back nature, less stressful nature of streaming.
Right, it's almost like you can be a little bit more yourself instead of like, sort of video personality, because they kind of differ. For me, they kind of differ. Like, I feel like I can kick back and say a few more relevant things
Right.
that might help reiterate my point. But on video, it's like, okay, I talk way too much. I gotta cut half of the speech up,
That's funny.
like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because it's easy to.
You have less nitpicking to do when it's just like, all right, it's live, it happened, it's over, you know?
Right, and plus people are tuned in, they're sitting
Yes.
there for the long haul, versus on a video, it's like, all right, man, it's 3 minutes in, and this guy has not even gotten to the first, reason I came here yet.
Right. Totally.
It's hard to grab the attention like that. But that's an art form in itself, a whole thing to
Absolutely.
learn.
Without a doubt. Well, that sounds awesome. I mean, streaming is no easy task. So I wish you luck. And of course, here to be a resource if you need it. I mean, the tech side of things is just a matter of do the best that you can. And you will encounter technical issues. Like I've been streaming now, like regularly for like a year, and I still have random technical issues that pop up out of nowhere, you know? I think it's just
Right,
like
right.
part of how it's going to be. But yeah, Google is your friend. Just push through the technical issues and have fun while you're streaming, you know?
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not afraid to troubleshoot either. You know, I actually do enjoy that a little bit. I don't enjoy when things go wrong, but I enjoy kind of
Problem
just
solving.
being, yeah, being immediately like, all right, how can I trace this? You know, let's start with the source and see where this went. And then when you solved it, it's like finishing a 500-piece jigsaw puzzle. You're like, I
For
put in that
sure.
last piece.
Well, you were
You
there
know?
for the 24-hour stream. When we first went live for the 24-hour stream, it was immediate technical issue. Like the second we
Yes.
went live, and from that moment, it's like your brain starts working, and me and Joe are just like, all right, what's the issue? What do we have to do? How do we solve this? And it is kind of exhilarating, despite the fact that it's like disruptive, but like it's still fun to solve problems, you know?
Right, right. It's almost like a IRL puzzle. It really is.
Exactly. Well, my friend, I wish you a happy new year, and I can't wait to see some of your first streams. Please keep us all posted, like in the Discord and stuff, on like when your streams are going to be, etc. And I hope you have a safe, relaxing holiday. Good luck finding a gift for your mom.
Yeah, thank you, man. I will keep everybody posted. I mean, you know, you can always follow me around. You'll see me around. But yeah, thank you, man. Same to you. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas.
Awesome. Have a good one, my friend. Thank you.
Yep. Later.
Later. Great call from Drunk Bishop. Hi, Sesa in the chat. Common Beats is here. Common, thank you so much for being here. We missed you. I'm so glad you're back. I hope things are well. If you want to call in, would love to have you call in. What else did I miss in chat? And then we're going to get to the next call because we got Sarah on the line. Sarah Dembora. Yo, thanks for an awesome year, TAETRO. Thanks for the inspiration and education to do a full Beattober and everything else. Edoyama, thank you so much. Congrats to you on your effort this year. I mean, it was no small task doing Beattober. So many of you, I mean, like Brent, who just called in, it's crazy. Like a lot of people have made great strides this year, and it's been amazing to see the community just grow in that organic way. So that's really cool. Oda Sor says, "Hi, I'm new here. Love the vibes. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out. We're just making some, we're just taking some calls, and I'm trying to decorate my 404 here. What I realized is there's a lot less like space to put stickers than I thought when you take the faceplate off. Anyway, should we get Sarah in here? By the way, we're gonna have time for more calls than I have in the waiting room. So if you want to call in, the link is there. If you are liking the vibes, call in. Don't be shy. It is a good time, I think." Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. But talk to me about your goals, 2022 New Year's resolutions. How were your goals for 2021? Do you need help setting your goals for 2022? We can talk all that through as well. Sarah, I got you in here. You just got to connect your audio device, and then we should be good. I'll give you a couple minutes, though. If you do have questions in chat, I'll take questions in chat as I can. Oh, this is not Sarah. I know who this is, I think. What's good, my friend? How are you?
Hey,
You're under a different name every time you call in.
yes, I keep using like all my brother and sister keep using my devices and they change the names every time.
I see. How are you, my friend? How has it been?
It's been good. I have been doing a lot more music recently during this Christmas break.
Nice. How much time do you have off?
Until like this first week of January, I think.
That's epic. For me, when I was in school, that was the time. You know, you get everything done during your vacations. Like there's so much time to focus on music, you know? I wanted to know, because I know you were working hard on music all year. How do you feel your 2021 went?
Is progressed. Like, I feel like, because I started in June of 2020, and now a year and 6 months later, I feel like I've progressed a lot more than I would have thought at the beginning when I started.
Nice. So what are some of those markers of success? Like what are some areas you feel like you progressed the most in?
A lot has been music theory.
Nice.
I've been watching all of your music theory videos, and that is, I feel like, helped me advance a lot more in my music.
That's
And
awesome to
like
hear.
I'm starting to like actually hear the difference in between my old songs and in the like songs I've made recently. With my new
Nice.
knowledge of music theory, I like can like tell the difference of what I've learned.
That's what it's all about. If you're hearing the difference, that's freaking perfect. I love to hear that. Thank you for watching the series. For those of you who don't know, I got a music theory for beginner series out and just posted a new chapter of it. I wonder, are there, because I was thinking about ending the series like with that last entry, but maybe for next year I'll keep it going. Are there any topics you think I should cover going forward in that series?
I think maybe because like I don't know how this would like translate to, because like I was thinking maybe you could do music theory, but for like a different instrument, like for guitar.
Oh, that could be interesting.
Because like I also play guitar, and like I was trying to think of how I could like maybe translate the music theory I learned from your series to maybe my guitar playing, but I didn't really
Sure.
understand how.
Yeah, and I think I think I've heard that before, that question, and it's very simple explanation. So I think it's definitely worth doing. So that's a good suggestion. But I would love to hear, now that you're building your skills and you did so much in 2021, what do you think are some of your goals for 2022?
My main biggest goal for 2022 would probably start to release my music.
Yes. Don't say probably. You said probably start. You have to say, I'm definitely going to release some music.
Yeah.
What's stopping you?
It's probably going to be.
You said probably again.
Because, like, the thing is like, I make a song and I'm like, all right, I want to release this. And then, like, 3 days later, I go back to the song to try and, like, add, like, more effects, like, try and make it a little better. And then I'm like, oh, wait, I don't really like this. And so then I put it off instead of releasing it.
Exactly.
And that's kept happening.
Yes, and that's going to keep happening when you become a pro level producer. That's going to keep happening. Like, this does not go away. This is like, I mean, a little bit is based on skill. As you grow in your skills, you'll be able to do more things that you're happy with. However, as an artist, like, you're always self-critiquing your own work. You're always like feeling like you can do better. And there's always that, like, you feel psyched about a track and then you come back to it and then you're not so psyched about it, like, that feeling is normal and it always happens. So what I would say is, like, capitalize on the moment when you're really feeling good about the music and try to that's why I try to get music out as quickly as possible and then just get out the next thing, So try to keep momentum with that. And also just realize every time you put something out, it's going to be better. So don't stress it too much and don't overwork a track, if sometimes the simpler, the better. But you should absolutely just put it out, like put out what you can so like people can show up and support you, but also put it out so people can show up and see your progression over time,
Yeah. I probably no, I'm not gonna say probably. I will make my first release in January next year.
You heard it, everybody. First release in January. Everybody heard that in the chat? Please jump in on that. That's great. That's a great declaration. I love to hear that. We're going to hold you accountable to that. We're going to be looking out for your release. So when I do a call-in show in January, you're going to call in and say, oh, my track is out, and you're going to be able to tell everybody where to go listen to it, right?
Yes.
Do you have an artist name?
I do, but like I'm not sure about it yet. So, it's pronounced Daox. It's Daox, and basically what I did is I got my initials and then just put it all together.
Oh, Daox, my friends in chat. What do you think of that? I think that's an awesome name, and I think that it's even cooler that it has to do with like your real name, because that's my vibe as well. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely go with that. People saying sick name in chat.
I took some inspiration from you.
Nice. Yeah, I love that, because you have some ownership over it when it's tied to like your actual name, like you have some attachment to it, I guess you could say. That's awesome, man. I'm so glad to hear that. I can't wait to hear the first Dayox track in 2022 January.
Yes. Yes.
People are asking, is there a social or anything that they can follow yet? Like, do you have a page yet?
Not yet, but I probably will start making it. Or not probably, I will make it soon.
Love that. We're making progress, so much progress on this call. We love to hear it. Okay, well, we're gonna keep that in mind. You already have fans in the chat, even though you haven't even dropped a track yet. So I look forward to hearing from you again in January, and people are gonna be searching up Dayox. So watch out.
All right.
Thank you so much for calling in, my friend. I appreciate it. Have a good holiday.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. That was Daniel. Deeper voice than before. I think that is another thing about these calls. People are growing up live in the community. All right, I want to get Bora in here. And then we're going to keep going with calls. Guys, I'm struggling with this, but don't you think it would be cool if Grimer was like coming after Sebak? I think that's kind of cool. The thing is, we lose a lot of the character to the holes. I hope that sticks. I got these at like a flea market in LA. This whole booth dedicated to stickers, you know? And they had so many Pokemon. I just didn't want it to be all Pokemon, you know what I'm saying? Amelia is in chat. Lou says, what's your opinion about the SP404? I love my 404 Mark II, which is what we're decorating right now. Hi, Bora. Bora, if you can connect to audio. Oh, you're connected.
Am I good?
You are good. How are you?
Awesome. I'm great. How you doing, TAETRO?
I am doing well. Can't complain. Where are we calling in from?
From Montreal.
From Montreal. Canada. Love that. Well, thank you for calling in. I would love to hear, how was your 2021? How about your musical goals? What did you think you accomplished? And how was the year for you?
Yeah, well, honestly, it's been, for me, like kind of similar to the previous caller. It was really the first year that I actually took music production like seriously in terms of like thinking of it as a career and something potentially to do like long term. And you know, so I started putting out my first tracks like this year.
Nice.
And you know, promoting them. And I've been watching like all of your videos in terms of
thank you.
Know, just in your interviews have been really helpful for different people for like sync licensing and
different
nice.
Things like that. I forgot I did some of those.
I had a whole different like business plan in terms of kind of honestly following like the Rust model a little bit and just putting out a ton of stuff and promoting it, putting out tons of content, things like that. And then I saw the sync licensing route. I was like, well, that seems really interesting as like a way to like fund the artist side, you know, and like kind of, you know, especially if you understand like music theory, it's like it seems a lot more like kind of reliable because you just prepare stuff for like briefs and you do a little bit of research and it's like just like any business.
It's like a project, like almost, you know, like it's like a it's a little bit different than just making your own music, you know, like you have a very clear directive and goal and you're trying to achieve something, you know.
Yeah, and well, you know, I kind of launched prematurely. Like I didn't really understand fully what I was doing, and now I kind of have a much better idea of what I want to do. And like I had two artist names, like which is like my YouTube name is Stay Golden, so I'm in the chat is Stay Golden. But then I was like figuring that's not really like SEO friendly because they're gonna search like Stay Golden, and they're gonna find like
that's a good point.
Stay Golden Pony Boy from like The Outsiders and all these different and there's even other businesses called like Stay Golden Music.
Of course,
and
it's
like
oh
my god,
too common of a phrase almost.
So I was like, well, my full name is like the most unique thing I have, like Bora Tizel. So I was like, okay, I'll just literally use that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my switch, and I've been putting most of my stuff under that artist name, and I'm keeping the Stay Golden Music one with the DistroKid membership, like because you have two names for free, right? So like I'm not paying like extra to have that name because I have all these other benefits which I'm also using. So and I'm going to use that name like eventually to have like kind of side projects and collaborations and maybe in the future, like even other artists and things like that. So
the thing about it is like
that way.
there's so much freedom. Like you said, you talk about the 2 names, you could have 5 names. Like you could have like a psy trance rockabilly project plus a hip hop trap beat project plus a project that's like singer songwriter. You could have all of the above under all these different names. And like you said with DistroKid, like I know you have like account with like 2 names, I think you said, but like I have the label account. Like I could release under like 5 different names if I wanted to. Like, and that's like that's like exciting, but also like exhausting when you think about it. But it's just like, I don't know. A thing for me when I started this whole thing, like when I was younger, like when I was like a teenager, is like I just want to have a home studio where I can make as much music as I want and I can just put stuff out with like no barriers. And I think like with doing the YouTube channel, which has been a great thing, I've kind of taken a slight diversion from some of the heart of that. But I think in 2022, I'm going to just get back to that. It's like no more, just like less buffer time in between like tracks. Like, okay, I made a track today. I think it's great. Let's put it out tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because that kind of kicked me in the butt a little bit when you said that, because like I have a track which I had the exact same issue with the previous caller, and where like I produced a track I actually really like it, I still like it, but then I was like debating whether adding one other layer to it in like one of the B sections, and the more I do it, because I've just listened to it so much, my like no change like sounds right at this point, which is like a huge issue, like that a lot of producers, I mean, like I watch like interviews with every producer, like all YouTube, like all day. So and they all like say this, like they kind of, Rick Rubin like makes a point of like stepping away from like sessions so that you don't get like biased with your ear and stuff. And so I think your advice of like just put it out when you're in the moment and like just literally just don't even think about it, just like send it to DistroKid or whoever your distributor is. Like I think that's a great point, and that's like one of the things I'm gonna take differently. Like next year is really like I want to put out like a lot more. I only have like 8 or so like tracks up or something like that on Spotify and all the platforms. So I want to put up like a lot more like next year, and do the sync thing like as well to kind of
and like with
try to get some revenue to do the artist stuff.
Right. And with the sync stuff, and even with the just putting stuff out on DistroKid, it's like a lottery ticket. Every time you put out a track, you have the chance to get it placed on a playlist, or if you're doing the sync thing, you have a chance to get it placed in like a high level commercial or something that's going to bring you money. Like, so it's a numbers game, right? Like just keep doing it, keep putting stuff out. Like what if you're sitting on the track that could potentially be your next big like payday? Like not that it's about the money, but like just,
honestly, we all probably are, because we all have so many files on our hard drives and stuff. Like I guarantee almost everyone in this chat has like at least one track like out of the hundreds, because you know how it is. If you've been producing for years, especially, you have like probably literally thousands of files.
Like thousands. So, and the thing about it is like I just looked, I've released 6 TAETRO tracks in this year. But like just as a matter of like how I've structured my files this year, like I have project files for days. Like I have project files on project files on project files, way more than 6, that's for sure. So like it's just figuring out what to do with all those things and where do they all fit and what's the right outlet for them, like that's what we all have to figure out. And how to best maximize our time, because like I like the way you're approaching it. The couple of things that you said, like first of all, you talked about interviews, like you talked about like a couple, like the one that I did, and then you talked about like Rick Rubin. Like that's just an example that everybody needs to take away, is like you can literally learn from anybody without being in the same room as them, without them ever knowing who you are, like whatever. Like you want to take a masterclass with Rick Rubin, or like do basically an internship with Rick Rubin, listen to every single podcast, every single interview, every single everything that he's ever said 2 words or more on, and you will learn so much. Like you don't have to be in the room, just absorb. Even if you feel like the interview is not like super relevant to you, just absorbing everything a person like that says is so useful.
Absolutely. Yeah, Nipsey Hussle too is like huge inspiration. Like he passed away super early, as you know. But like the things that he's come up with, he was doing like QR codes on like merchandise like way back in the day, before like anyone was doing that. And still a lot of people aren't even doing that. Like putting like new releases on like on a shirt that you have from like 2010 or whatever is like, oh, go check your shirt now. There's a new album loaded on the QR tag. It's like so genius.
It's
He's thinking about
crazy.
that like so back in the day.
And when you look at people like that, like, you know, Virgil Abloh just passed away too. Like, I talk about this all the time. Like, he's somebody that was like, he was doing DJing, he was doing some music stuff, but he was mostly like a designer, visual artist, creative director. But I've just learned so much about like what I do as a creative person. If you don't put yourself into a box and say, I'm just a lo-fi hip hop beat maker, music producer. If you don't just put yourself in that box and you realize that you have a lot more to offer to the world creatively than one thing, then you can start listening to people from all these different disciplines and applying it to like yourself creatively as a whole. And a lot of things, you'd be surprised how many things just translate into the thing that you're focused on. Like, I learned a lot about music, creativity in music from hearing Virgil talk about other designing sneakers. You know what I mean? Like, it's all relevant.
Yeah, especially anything creative. But yeah, I mean, everything is interconnected regardless of like what it is. But yeah, especially creative stuff and business stuff. And yeah, it's really interesting to get different viewpoints and kind of form your, I've been kind of just compiling the best attributes of different business plans and different philosophies and kind of approaching it and into my combining into my own like holistic approach and continually refining that. Like, I added this like licensing thing just like a few months ago. I was like, oh, that seems really interesting. Is like, instead of just relying on like the you know the artist like get up, you know,
Yeah.
to come up or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. Yeah, if you start applying,
I just want to say like
Go ahead.
your music theory tutorials have been super helpful as well. Like,
Oh,
I
that's
know
awesome to hear.
you're talking about continuing that, but in terms of like actual relevant, like, you know, you don't need to take like 6 months of classes to know like whole half, whole half.
Exactly.
And then, like, even like just that and like seeing how you added different melodies and stuff just took my like you know, I didn't know how to play piano, and like I had a MIDI controller, and just watching your videos and others have been like very helpful, and just like learning piano like myself without having to like rely on a music school and stuff. So
What's crazy
I wanna
about
thank
that
you
is,
for that.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Is I wasn't going to make that a series, and then it became a series because people liked it. And but the crazier part is, like, do you know how long it took for somebody to explain to me the whole half thing? And like, I took like years and years of theory, and it's like, why didn't you start with this? Like, why would you not start with the most logical thing? So like, that's like my channel as a whole. I'm trying to be like, you know, everybody else is just telling you this in an ass backwards way, and here's how they should have freaking told you. Like, I don't know why, like, what's happening, but yeah, I'm glad to hear that it was helpful, and I'm gonna try to keep pushing for that in 2022 and explain things in ways that I feel like they should be explained, or that they're not explained clearly enough. So I'm glad to hear that that's helping.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, you're doing a great job. You seem to have a good idea of coming up with new topics that are continually relevant as well. So
yeah, that's the big
yeah,
challenge, but I'm going to try to keep pushing for it. So thank you, my friend. Any
Appreciate
parting
you.
words?
Well, I just want to, you know, congratulate everyone that was talking about like putting out more stuff like next year. And, you know, I'm really excited to see like Bishop and the other guys, like what they're going to do. And, you know, I just want everyone to just keep going and pushing. The thing I've seen from watching interviews from different artists is everyone, it just comes down to just keep pushing and grinding. Like within 5 to 10 years, you're going to be entirely different place than you would possibly imagine. It's just really just keep working at it and refining your approach and keep going is really, that's all that's required pretty much.
100%. You're right. That's awesome. All right. Thank you so much for calling in, my friend. I hope we can talk again soon.
Definitely appreciate you.
Have a good holiday. Okay. We have more people. We have Ed Oyama. Let's get him in. I'm sorry if I missed certain chats. Yarden, thank you so much for that super chat. I appreciate it. Yarden, what did we say about super chatting? That's your only allowed super chat for this. Thank you to everybody else who's here. I saw Sav in the chat as well. Max Isolated Vocalist, thank you for being here. Oh, and Ed Oyama is on the call.
Hey, what is up?
What's going on? I'm so happy you called in. Thank you for being here. It's been a while since we last chatted.
I know it has, but yo, it's been a fun year. Thank you so much for making it a great year, TAETRO.
You have had a insane year, not only musically, but life-wise, with a new child. Absolute insanity. I don't know how you do it all. Oh, is there another guest in the room as well?
Oh my goodness, yes. My daughter wants to do Legos in the room with me right now. Let's see if I can avert this. But anyway, just want if it comes down to that, it'd just be fun to say hi.
Yeah, for
she
sure.
doesn't want to leave.
Well,
kids are home because Christmas vacation and all that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'll say congratulations on an awesome year. You talked about Beattober in the chat, and that was a huge success, I think, for you and for many. And the way you incorporated your kids in that, I think, was so sweet and so awesome. And it's really inspiring because my community is people like parents, students, people who are much older, people who are much younger. So it's great to see somebody like you that has so many life responsibilities, clearly, taking on so much and having so much success. How do you feel your 2021 went?
Oh, it was so much fun. I mean, like, I guess I had music goals and stuff, and I still do, but I think the thing that really got me was it was just so very enjoyable, and like also hanging out with people on Discord. Like, I never did that before, to be honest, but hang out in the community Discord, everyone should like join that ASAP if you like making music.
Heck yeah.
Because honestly, I don't have people in my life, in real life, like IRL, that are making music or trying to do this kind of stuff that we're doing over here. And that really pushed me. Like, the videos were one thing, and I never would have started without watching your videos. So thank you so much. But the community pushed it like so much further. It's like Bishop was saying a little earlier today, it's exactly that.
Yeah, community can do a lot for people, and that's awesome to hear. What and by the way, so my Discord, everybody in chat who doesn't know, if you become a member, you can join my Discord, but you can also join something like the 343 Labs Discord, which is linked in the description, and become a member over there for free. Not become a member, but join that Discord. I was going to ask, so now with all this growth that you've had in 2021, what are some of your goals for 2022?
Yeah, that's cool. I've just been thinking a lot because I feel like I was able to try my hand at a lot of different things this year, which was really fun, and tried YouTube videos, and then tried live streaming, and then I wasn't really into Instagram until Beattober, and now I really enjoy posting on Instagram and chatting with people there. And I put a couple of things on Spotify for the first time too. So it's like, whoa, it's almost overwhelming. It's like, I want to try everything. And now I feel like I need to prioritize. But the goals that I came up with. Oh yeah. What you gonna say?
No, what I was gonna say is I want everybody to just realize how much you have used the word enjoy, because I think that's what it comes down to. If you're doing it and you're enjoying it, then that's amazing. That's what it's literally all about. But I was gonna say to you is like, less of like prioritizing. Well, it is kind of prioritizing, but more of like, what brings you the most joy? Like, you talked about enjoying a lot of those things. And I bet for you, it's like more about figuring out what do you love the most, even though you want to try all the things, what things are bringing you the most joy. And that also might change over time. That might evolve. And maybe for 3 months you enjoy this, and maybe for the next 3 months you enjoy that, so I don't know. I wonder what your thoughts are on that, because you do seem to be finding a lot of joy in this.
That's me. Like, I'm shiny object distraction all day, every day. So I do need to focus more. And I think one thing I really want to focus on is making music as part of my life more sustainable. Like, so basically money is a part of that, because having 3 kids and wanting to go in as much as I do want to go in, it makes more sense if I can be supported at least part-time-ish.
Absolutely.
From that. So just seeing how much I want to do it and how much I enjoy it, I'm really looking especially at sync licensing and maybe growing the YouTube channel. But like, the base goal for that is like, I can't really control that too much.
That's true.
So like, the things that I can control is like, a track a month on Spotify next year. I think Beattober really got my confidence up.
I mean, if you could make a beat video per day, then you can definitely get a track out per month. That's my mentality, at least.
Exactly. And I really appreciate that you put that out there, because I learned a lot just through the process. I actually got a little bit burnt out. I took a month just to kind of like reflect and enjoy other things. And then been getting back into it in December and having a lot of fun with it again. So that's been cool.
That's great.
So yeah, a track a month, maybe, probably shouldn't say maybe, a couple YouTube videos a month. I think I take myself too seriously when I make videos. I should just have a little more fun with it. Go deep. Don't try to pretend I'm like some master producer. My angle, I realize, is I come at it from a beginning producer looking at stuff as a beginning producer.
Totally.
What good is a launch CAD? What good is a launch key? What good is the new swag that I got from TAETRO? Dude, thank you so much. The giveaways were so cool.
Yeah, you made out like a bandit on those giveaways. Literally.
For real.
I forgot about that.
Putting off videos. I'm like so gonna make a video about the Orba and about the not the Jamstick, the instrument one. I was like, oh, it's so cool. I don't even know where to start with it. So that's why I haven't made a video, because I'm like, it's just really neat, really fun. I don't even know what to do with it to max it out yet. So I'm just playing with it.
That's okay. Just having fun is good.
But yeah, release something a month, release videos in a month. I guess the one thing I can control is sync licensing, is keeping on educating myself and sending out, emails to different libraries and stuff, and be consistent with that part. That's my responsibility. I can't control the response, but I can control that.
Yeah, you can control the output though. So if you're setting yourself on that path, and you are kind of tracking your progress with that, and it's also to just be real and objective with yourself, like you're putting out quality work. So as long as you're on the path and you kind of like do a shotgun blast of like send out as much as possible, because you don't know like where the fish are gonna bite, cast the widest net possible, you'll get a couple bites. And that's like if cast thousands of fishing rods, you'll get a couple bites. That's what we can always hope for. Right? That's just like the numbers game of how this all works.
True.
But you can for sure control the output, and at least at the end of the day, you fall back on saying you enjoy it anyway. So that's number one. And number two, you'll be able to say, well, I put in the effort, I tried it. You can objectively look at it and say, this is what I did, this worked or this didn't work. Here's how I can improve, or here's how I can pivot into something new. You'll always be able to do that. Yeah. And that's how you survive, not getting down on if one thing doesn't work or if one thing doesn't have the progress that we expect,
It's so easy to get into that. And I think that was part of my year in 2021. Like, oh man, I tried this.
That's what it's all about, trying all things. So it sounds like you're on a great path ahead for 2022. I think from what I'm hearing from everybody, and including your call just now, Ed, people are going to have an even bigger 2022 than they had a 2021.
Yeah, for real. And just listening to the calls and watching the chat and hang out with people, I think it's going to be a good year. I think it'll be a good year.
I think you're right. Thank you so much. Good luck with the kids over break, and enjoy your holiday.
Yeah. I got to print out some more emergency Christmas cards because we were short. So
of course.
I'll back into that.
All right. Have a good one. Good talking to you.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Thank you, Ed. Ed has so much joy just in his voice. Isn't that amazing? Amelia says, can't wait for Beattober already. Amelia, you also said, where's the Gengar sticker? I don't have Gengar, unfortunately. I wish I did. I'm also realizing I'm putting 2 rosés on here because that's what I feel like. Hi, Andre Von Zark. By the way, folks, we are brought to you today by 343 Labs, which is a really amazing... We're going to get into more calls, by the way, in 1 minute. Really amazing live electronic music school, music production, mixing, mastering, synthesis, and sound design. It's so good that the cops are coming right now. They don't even want me to talk about it. So check out the website, 343labs.com. There's something really cool coming. We've been testing a new product that's less like a class and more like just ongoing support for producers. And the number one thing about 343 Labs is interactive, personalized approach with amazing instructors. And that's all levels of Ableton Live, all levels of Logic, synthesis and sound design, mixing and mastering courses. And then stay tuned for new stuff coming in January, February. If you are looking for something you could subscribe to and get like regular feedback on your tracks, regular just like mentorship from really experienced producers and DJs and artists, masterclasses, exclusive workshops, all that good stuff. So 343labs.com. Check that out if you haven't yet. Really awesome music school, especially for some of you that are skill building over the next year. So let's see who's next. Vinton is next. This 404 cover is fire. Thank you, Ed. Yes, Lucas, you can get access to the Discord by becoming a member at any tier, hitting that join button. Members, don't forget that you have member milestone chat. If you click the super chat button, you get one of those free a month, so you can send like a cool super chat. Vinton is about to join us on the call, I think. If I hit ask to unmute, let's see if that works. I didn't do a tech rundown before, but if you are in the waiting room, thank you for being patient. Try to take the calls as they come. Make sure your audio input device is selected properly. And then also make sure when you do take the call that you're listening to me through the Zoom call, not through the stream, because it will be delayed. Hello, Vinton. How are you?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you for calling in. Where are you calling in from?
Hi. I'm calling in from Malaysia.
Wow,
I've
amazing.
been
Across the world.
Yeah. It's been a while since I participated in October, but then school started, so
Right.
yeah, shit went flopping, you know.
Of course, yes. We always have competing priorities, and that's okay. How's it going? How was your 2021 in terms of your musical goals and things like that?
Well, it was a very humbling year because I discovered many other routes, especially when I was studying in music school, of like people expressing themselves. And the more you think about it, the more it's about crafting a certain sound rather than trying to be a part of them. So that's what I noticed, this need for individuality, especially in music.
Yeah, and how do you find that you are trying to craft your originality? I want to hear that. Like, what do you think makes you you as an artist? I would love to hear some of the defining factors there for you.
Because I see music as a sort of expression for film, and because I feel there's so much potential to embed music with stories that people can't hear. Yeah, because I took a lot of my influence from philosophy and literature mostly, and craft something what I would say to be a sort of new expression.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. And what do you think, I know you talked about like having school and competing priorities, but what do you think 2022 is going to look like for you musically?
Well, 2022, I think there's a lot of, I'm going to be better at time management by then, because during these few weeks are the most hectic weeks for me.
Right.
So I've been learning about time management, and I should be more efficient next year, I think.
It's important.
Yeah, it's so important. It's part of life.
Yeah.
Nobody can escape time, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess that's like being a music producer is all about, right? Like learning to improvise with all these events and still doing your craft. That's one important thing that I got out.
It's essential because if you can't do it, like if you can't actually make it sustainable for your life, then it's just not possible to keep up, and you're going to end up feeling super defeated. Like, we have to find ways to make this whole thing work in our day-to-day lives. And it can't just be a thing that we do. We can't just be constantly running out of time. You know what I mean? Like, we can't just constantly be like, okay, this weekend I can get something done. And then maybe a month goes by before you can get something else done. It's not sustainable that way, and you're not going to make meaningful progress, and then you're going to end up feeling down about yourself. don't get me wrong, like not everything has to be a grind and has to take up a ton of our time. But if you have certain goals, they do acquire like a certain amount of attention. So I think you're totally right about time management. Do you think you have any time management tips for people, or ways that you could, ways that you think you might improve your time management going forward?
Well, that's a hard thing to answer because
I know.
Everybody's built differently, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like most of the time, I kind of say, like, let's say I'm curious about something, or like a certain door or whatever, and I'll attend. I'll like, what do you call that? I'll just pick up and start to learn all of those if I'm feeling interested at the moment. So basically, the things that I feel the most attracted to, especially in terms of curiosity, I'll go learn first because
Sure.
it makes the process of absorbing information much faster because you're interested in it. And
Exactly.
yeah, I guess that's one way to look at it, like rather using events rather than time itself, because the events are the things that matter the most, right? So
You're right.
you gotta put that out there, you know.
Yeah, I think I do the same. Like if I'm gravitating towards something, I just learn to go for it, because all the different competing things that you have in your life, like I'm interested in all the things that I do, right? But I'm not interested in all the things that I do at every moment. So if in each moment I can just grapple onto the thing that I'm interested in, I've learned to trust that it will all get done. And that's everything from like, if I feel like painting, then I'm going to take advantage of that and paint, knowing that I'm going to feel like producing later. Or if I even feel like playing like Halo, and I value that as like time to, you know, relax my brain, then I'm going to take advantage and I'm going to do that and trust that productivity will come later. You know what I mean? So it's all about like trusting yourself and going for those things and not feeling bad, right? Because it can be really easy to indulge in some things and feel bad that you're indulging in them. But if you have a little bit of trust and discipline, you're going to get it done.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
It's about faith in oneself.
Totally.
So yeah, that's one thing I think we producers lack sometimes, the faith, the trust that we are going to put out something good, and it will all run our own races, but we'll eventually get there in our own way or our own form.
That's right.
And that's what you, when you said that the whole thing about music production is because it just feels so good to make a song, it feels so good to produce and all this. And that's a really important factor, right? Love it with your heart, and it's just a part of you, and you can't escape from it.
That's number one. That's right. Because like, even if I didn't have the channel, even if I didn't have an audience, nothing, I'd be making music because that's what I love to do. And for some reason I was given this like natural feeling towards music that draws me to it. Some people are drawn towards sports. Some people are drawn towards visual art. Some people are drawn towards working with their hands, whatever it may be. We're all kind of born with this like tendency towards something, and then also natural ability. So the more you just go with that and enjoy it, and that's the number one priority, is enjoying it, the better it feels. And that's like the number one. I'll tell you what, like, just to share with everybody, like for my channel, like, first of all, the number one thing is, do I actually like the music that I'm putting out? Am I actually enjoying it? That's like number one. But the number two thing is, like, for content and numbers, like, all I want is 1,000 views per video, because I feel like I'm pretty confident that my content will help people. I'm pretty confident that I'm putting out content that will help people. And if it can, if 1,000 people watch it and it can help 1,000 people, I feel really good that I could have helped, you know, myself times 1,000, you know, like, I feel like my impact is good if it hits 1,000 views. So anything after that, like, I just realized that, like, there's this whole numbers game that happens. You see it happen with Spotify Wrapped at the end of every year and stuff, you know, artists sharing their numbers or whatever. And it opens up this like comparison game of people like comparing each other, comparing themselves or whatever. And I just think like you set your own goals. Like why compare yourself to literally anybody else when you get to decide what makes you happy, you know? Like you get to decide. So like, what's my marker of success? Did I help 1,000 people learn something or get better at music, or did I help inspire them? That's it. And I think that's very achievable for me. So I spend a lot of time not very stressed. I'm struggling with this 404. I don't know if you're watching the stream. I'm struggling with where to put these stickers. But Vinton, thank you so much for calling in. I hope you have a good holiday and a happy New Year.
Thank you. You too, man.
Have a good one.
Wish you the best, bro.
Wish you the best. Let's keep going. Dua is up next. We're going a little bit longer today because it's the last stream of the year. So why not? Go Blackpool, Common Beats. Katie, thank you for the compliment. And Dua is in chat. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing well. Where are you calling in from?
I'm from Pakistan.
That's amazing. I think you're the first caller from Pakistan that I've ever had.
Yay.
Shout out to you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
And tell me, this is your first time calling into the show, right?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about you musically. Like how was 2021 for you as a musician or producer?
I actually just started in 2020, like in June. So 2021 was me exploring quite a lot of different things. I didn't really advance in anything, but I did explore quite a lot of things like music therapy and like theory and fingerstyle guitar and all that.
It sounds like you definitely advanced in some things if you tapped into all those different subjects.
I did tap into quite a lot of things, yes.
You advanced in your exploration of all these different topics. Did any one of them in particular draw you in? Like one that you want to pursue a little deeper? Guitar, nice.
Guitar, yeah.
So does that tie into what may be your 2022 goals?
Kind of, because like I have like 300 melodies recorded on my phone and I have lyrics written down, but I can't put them into one song. Like I haven't actually created a song yet. So that's something that I want to do in 2022. That's fantastic that you're like capturing all those as almost part of the writing process. And now what you get to do is you get to go through them all, and I don't think you should feel pressure to use every single one, but what you should feel is like the ability to now go through and pick. Like imagine that somebody else handed you all those those melodies and stuff like that, and you got to choose from them, you know? You get to like, I don't know, you get to be a curator almost. And that's really, really cool. I love that way of working. So do you think you want to put together like an album, or just like put out some tracks based on some of that, or like what's the tangible thing you want to do? I actually I just started learning Ableton, so I don't have a a very good grip on it yet. So I think I won't be like producing a proper album this year, just like some tracks.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what, the number one way to learn it, like don't feel like you have to learn a certain thing. Don't feel like you have to learn it to a certain level to start putting stuff out. The number one way to just learn is just by doing it. Like if you just start making stuff and you just Google all the questions that you have as they come up, like start by like, okay, I want to make a track. But then when you hit your first bump in the road of something you don't know how to do, that's when you literally just Google it, and then you learn how to do it, and then you're on to the next thing, and then you'll hit another bump in the road where you won't know how to do something, and then you just figure it out from there. So it's almost like you get to simultaneously make some music and learn and solve some problems.
Yeah, like how do you know if a track is good enough? Like you don't have to edit anything anymore.
How do you feel about it? I mean, that's the number one thing, is like, I know we're our own worst critics, but and this is a very hard thing to do, but you have to have some level. It's really impossible, but you have to have some level of objective judgment over your track. And there's a lot of ways that you can do that for your own work. It's like I said, it's basically impossible to have complete objectivity over a track, because we're always having our own subjective input. Listening to your own track that you have control over changing is way different than listening to a track that you like, that you have no control over changing. Yeah. So one thing like I try to do is listen to music that I love, but listen to it as if I had the ability to change it or edit it, as if it were my own track. And what I find, or what you'll probably find when you do that, is there are a lot of production things or a lot of creative choices that you would do differently in tracks that you love, that are really good tracks. And that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that track. How it ties back in is like, we could be making infinite changes. At a certain point, we just have to call something done if we're going to get it done. And yes, it could have been different. Yes, the reverb could have sounded different. Yes, you could have done one more take of that line, or whatever it is, whatever the minor change you could do, of course. But we could do that literally forever in perpetuity. And you have to realize that like every artist that puts out music listens back to their tracks and can hear at least one thing that they would change about their tracks. And when you think about that in terms of like, name a track whatever a track is that you think is perfect, go listen to that track. And that artist, even though you think it's perfect, will have something to say about something they would have done differently on that track. I can almost guarantee it. So when you think of it that way and apply that to your own music, of course you're going to have things that you would change. Of course you're going to have things that you feel like aren't completely done or aren't completely perfect, but that's literally all music. And you might have somebody's next favorite song sitting on your hard drive unreleased, and you're denying them that opportunity for it to be their favorite song because you haven't released it, because you're kind of like nitpicking it, you know? So like use some objectivity, maybe listen to some tracks in a similar genre, listen to them up against one another, and just have a really honest conversation with yourself and say, is this at least close to a similar track in the genre? And don't expect it to be 100% perfect, because, you know, a lot of the tracks that we love are created in big professional studios that we don't have access to. Yeah. So don't hold yourself to that standard, but get it as close as possible. And then honestly ask yourself, is this the best that I can do? Will one more day of production help it be better? What are the actual things that I'm going to do to make it better? Like tangible things, like, oh, I need to fix the EQ on the guitar in this section or something. If there are not tangible things and you can answer that question and say, you know, this is the best that I can do for now, then put it out. Those are sort of like my guiding factors for putting things out. First of all, realize that everybody feels like they can make their tracks better, even if it's the best track that you think you've ever heard. Second of all, have an objective conversation with yourself about, is this the best that I can do right now in this moment? And if it is, get it out.
Right. And like you mentioned in another call that we should put the music out as soon as possible.
Yeah, because I mean, what the caller there, Daniel, was saying was like, and I have this too, is like you work on a track, you feel really good about it, and then 2 weeks go by, then by then a month goes by, maybe even 2 months go by, and suddenly you don't love it as much. Or like where a lot of us are at is like we're constantly building skills. So by the time 2 months go by, you've built so much skills that like the track isn't even a representation of where you are as an artist anymore. So that's the downside if you don't just get it out. Whereas if you had got it out and you started working on the next track, then you would put that original track out. And then a month later, you would say, put another track out. That's a better representation of your skills. And then 6 months later, you might have 5 more tracks out that are the best representation of your skills. And it's just like a clear evolution. Meanwhile, all the old music that you put out is getting pushed down in the queue, and all your new stuff is at the top. If you never put stuff out, then you don't have stuff at the top. You don't have people seeing your best representation of where you're at in this moment. And we're all getting better and better every day. So we should put out as much as we can, as much as humanly possible, in knowing that the future holds a lot for us, and we're going to keep putting stuff out in the future.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in. I hope you call in again in the future, because I would love to have more calls from Pakistan, of course.
Yeah.
Keep us posted on all that. And I'll say one more thing. You talked about having 300 guitar melodies or something.
Yeah.
Pick the ones that you're going to use, of course, and keep them for you. But then also consider putting out a melody pack or something that you can sell. Even if you took 100 of those that you weren't going to use for yourself, put them in a pack for people to download, sell it for $5, and I'm sure people would go for it. So consider that, because that could be a definite potential revenue source. And you're going to keep coming up with guitar melodies and guitar samples for the rest of your life, I bet, or different kinds of samples. So just consider that and think about that going forward in 2022, because that can be an awesome way to monetize and get your name out there.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. Have a good one, Dua. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
We love that. Sample pack. Yes, exactly. Kay Otanari is in the chat. Hello, nice to see you. Chimpwal. It's so hard to consider a song done. I've struggled with that all year. We all struggle with it. Pickle Rick says, the biggest thing in making music is pursuing and believing in yourself. Yes, I believe you. I believe that as well. Rally NMS says hi. All right, I'm going to unpin the call link. We got a few more calls in the waiting room, but I do want to get through them. And we're going long here today, but I'm having fun decorating the 404. Is it a little too bright, though?
Hey, TAETRO.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. So you were able to pull off a call last minute, huh?
Yes, we're going to keep going. We're going to get through all the calls in the waiting room.
Yeah, nice. So, 2021's done.
It's crazy, right?
Yes. Actually, the year actually went better than I thought it would.
Tell me about it. Why do you think that?
First, I released my music this year. I released my first album this year.
And that went amazingly then, in that case.
I did pretty good, considering that, I do not have a very great following as of now. But yeah, it did good for whatever following I did have.
Good. And, I mean, that's how it starts. Everybody that has a following started with 0 following.
Everyone starts at 0. That's okay. I don't. And recently I've been having a dilemma of the kind of music that I've been producing.
Sure, let's hear it.
Usually I do all kinds of music. I do Carnatic fusion, I do dubstep, I do trap beats, I do drill, and I do lo-fi.
Right.
But recently there's been like this addiction to lo-fi. I would look at like the simplest of simplest objects, like a leaf falling to the ground, and I would get an idea. And that too of a lo-fi beat. So nowadays I'm having the dilemma of what kind of producer am I? Like, every producer has their own niche that, you are good at lo-fi, someone else is good at trap, someone else is good at something else.
Right.
So I've been struggling with the fact that I have to find my niche. So I'm getting out of it.
Sure. I was going to say, you do and you don't have to find your niche. So like, first of all, I make a lot more music than I put out, obviously. And I put out a lot of music that is not like, I make a lot of music that is not quote unquote TAETRO music, whatever that actually means. And the thing I was talking about with another caller earlier is like how freeing it is that you could have like 5 different artist names and just put music out under all these different genres. So like, if you do find yourself making all this music, I know it is hard to, it's hard to build a following for even one artist persona, right? Like it's hard enough. It's a full-time job enough. But if you at least want to just have an outlet for each of these things that you love making, you could take the pressure off and say, I'm not really going to worry about building a social media platform for each one of these, but I will make a SoundCloud page for each one, or I will just get a DistroKid label account and release music under each name for whatever. That way you can do it, because we can't, if as soon as we pigeonhole ourselves into one genre or one style of music, that's a quick way to start not loving it anymore. You know, that's a quick way to like be like, man, I can't make anything else. I'm stuck making this. And we don't have to necessarily feel that way. You know, we can make a little lo-fi over here, and then we can make a little trap over there, make a little drill over there. And there could be different outlets for each. Maybe you make a bunch of drill and trap beats that are literally just for sale. Maybe it's not even an artist persona. Maybe it's just like you put them on BeatStars or something.
I could do that. Yeah.
And then maybe like you have a lo-fi artist persona where you release tracks regularly and maybe try to get them playlisted. And then, you know, whatever other kind of music you make, you have a SoundCloud page for, just because it's fun.
You need to put it out, you know, because you don't know which one will blow up.
Exactly.
And it's good experimenting also.
Yes. That's the main thing. Is like for you and your pursuit of like being a whole creative person and not just being, because this is one of the main issues. Like I like social media. I obviously leverage social media a lot, and I think it's a great tool for artists. I think it's what makes it one of the best times to be an artist. However, one of the drawbacks of it is it does tend to force everybody into a niche and into a specific bucket. Whereas if we look at a lot of artists, you know, a lot of artists previous to social media fit into a bucket, but then a lot of artists also had the freedom to do different things, explore, especially if you think back to like back in the days of, you know, albums, which of course people still make albums, but Kanye West.
Not the albums that we're talking about.
Right. A great modern example, Kanye West, who like, he's one of these people who is relevant in modern day music, but still comes from like a little bit more of the older industry
old
vibe.
school kind of thing.
Yes. Where each one of his albums has a different feel. You know, he's got College Dropout, then he's got Graduation, 808s comes out of nowhere, My Dark Twisted Fantasy comes out of nowhere, and then subsequently continues to grow from there. But it's hard to do that as an artist these days. If you're a Kanye West coming up today and you put a song out like Stronger, and then you put out a song like 808s and Heartbreak, and then you put out a song like Monster, like those are three like totally different tracks.
Totally different sounding, yeah.
And they're all amazing. But what happens on social media and what happens with the way we kind of consume now is people follow people for a specific thing. They follow you for your lo-fi content. Or for me, it's like they follow you for the MIDI controller content, or even like the Akai and PK mini content. Like that's the thing that like
they go that specific. Yeah,
they go like that specific. So like that's the thing we constantly have to be fighting with. We can feed the beast a little bit, but then we can also be true to ourselves as artists and try different things. And I think in 2022, I want to try to push back on that a little bit more. Like you see me doing like paintings and stuff, right? Like I'm not a freaking...
They're actually pretty good, huh?
I appreciate it. I just want to like loosen the definition of what we all are quote unquote like supposed to be. And I want us all as artists and as consumers of art to be more mindful of that. Like, do we like the whole artist or do we just like the one thing that they do? And I think it's a better community and a better artistic world as a whole when we like artists for their broader
I think it's like
perspective.
When people accept you for everything.
Yes.
When, you know, the society accepts you for everything, then you're free to be who you are. You don't have to be bound by this niche necessarily.
100%. You're
and
totally
of course
right.
That's one of my goals for next year. I know I want to explore myself, and school's done, so I'm going to be going to music college.
Love that.
So that's one of the things I get to explore, and I've been to be very honest, I've been very inspired by you lately.
Thank you.
Like just my exams were going on this month, so it's been a little hard. But before that, it was like continuous, like watching and understanding how your thought process works and understanding what it is to be like a creator. So I want to focus on creating content for YouTube.
Nice.
And I want to learn that from you because your content is kind of the vibe that I want to go for.
Cool. What is the vibe? What is
So
that vibe? How would you articulate the vibe?
your vibe, your videos are the vibe of, if I'm sitting or like I'm laying down in my bed, cuddled up with a good book and a hot glass of coffee, and if I'm listening to something, it's your music.
I love
So
to hear
your
that.
videos give me that kind of vibe, that extremely chill vibe that you can listen to on a road trip or while being in a coffee shop, just anywhere to keep yourself relaxed.
Wow.
And
That's
I want to go
awesome.
for that because being being who I am actually is very hectic. To be
Totally.
honest, I'm a very hyperactive person. So when I sit down and make music, I feel like I am true to myself and to the world.
For
I
sure.
don't have this like a different face or a different side of myself. This is 100% me. So I definitely want to make more content and put out more things on Spotify. I want to put out a lo-fi beat tape, which I've been working on tirelessly.
That's great.
So yeah.
You should 100% do that. Of course, I would say that. But it sounds like you're going in the right direction. Like being mindful of all those things and keeping your eye on like being a whole artist and having these bigger goals.
I don't know if you observed, but I think on the last 4 or 5 calls, I've been pretty consistent with you. I've joined all the calls.
Yes.
And whenever we've talked, actually, because it's anyways recorded, but I still ask my dad. He's in the next room. He just tunes in and he listens to what I say.
Shout out to your dad.
What you say, and he listens to what you say, and then he comes and he's like, he gives me his thought on it. So when I have the view of my dad, because he has a very sharp mind, surprise, like I am sometimes very surprised of the way he speaks. Like it's very good. So advice that he gives from that is like very helpful to me, even though he's not a content creator as such.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So, and I'm surrounded by creators. My mom's a dancer, and I have all my friends are into music.
Nice.
So I'm surrounded by people who are very creative. So I get their opinions too. So I feel like day by day, when I make music, it helps me improve as a person, and I want to go in that track.
That's 100% it. Like the way you said it, it helps me improve as a person. Like it's so much broader than just music, like it's bigger. Yeah. We exist in the real world,
Yes. True.
And yes, shout out to your dad. I mean, getting advice from all these different sources and like having the input will help you make more like balanced decisions, right? Because like I don't expect anybody to listen to like 100% what I say. I expect people just to take what I say and at least have a thought.
Don't say that. Come on, you have very genuine following, okay? I mean, I listen to you 100%. I'll be there. And I actually cut a call with my friend. I'm like, oh, he's live. I have to go.
Well, sure. I hear that and I appreciate that. But I mean, like, I can't possibly know everybody's perfect situation, what exactly will work for everybody, Like, so I just want at least everybody to be thinking about these things and approach them in their own way. Because that's creativity. I don't want everybody to be exactly like me, of course.
It's like what you said with one of the last callers, like how you seek inspiration from some guy talking about sneakers on a podcast.
Right. Yeah.
So I do the same thing, and unfortunately, I'm a little more broad-minded. So I tend to go to whoever I'm actually looking for. I don't keep a more broad perspective, like go to other places and seek inspiration.
Sure.
I'm trying to do that, but still, like as of now, I'm finding good advice from your channel. So I am sticking to it.
That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you for consistently calling in and like being an awesome member of the community.
Next year too. I'm going to pick your brain a lot.
Totally. All right.
Anyways, have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
You as well. Have a good one, my friend.
Bye, man.
See ya. Okay. I got Casper and then I got Rashane to close things out. Thank you all for being patient. I'm having fun with the 404. I feel like it could be better. And I'm also realizing that I'm blocking out some of this text and I definitely don't know the 404 well enough to know what it says under this text. So there's that. Hello, Casper. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Thank you so much for calling in. Where are you calling in from?
The UK, actually.
The UK. We got people from all over the world today. Well, I would love to hear about your thoughts on this topic. How was 2021 for you musically?
Well, actually, I started making music the exact day after Christmas, so I get it. Well, for everybody, it must have been tough in the early stages of making music, but yeah, it's gone well. I've definitely improved quite a bit, like over everything.
Nice. What ways would you like? What kind of music are you making? Like, what has your approach been so far? That sort of thing.
Well, I kind of like experiment in different genres, if you know what I mean. So I could go. Well, it just depends where the track takes me. Like if I were to make an intro or something, and it would just depend really. But mostly I make sort of the bass music, but I've been getting into hip hop lately, like
Nice.
those old sort of hip hop stars. But yeah,
Awesome.
lo-fi.
What are
Yeah.
some of your goals for 2021? Now that you've started dabbling for a year.
Well, for Christmas, I'm getting the Akai MPC Live 2, so that's gonna
How do
kind
you
of be a
know?
step up for
How
me.
do you know that's what you're getting?
My dad doesn't know a lot about that stuff, so he just came upstairs and we just started looking at the different Akais and yeah.
So your dad must have a direct line to Santa or something. I don't understand.
Yeah, basically.
Perfect. Well, that's awesome. So are you thinking about like, do you want to make a release? Do you want to release one track? Do you want to release like an EP, or do you want to put content out? Like, what are you thinking? Like, what's going to be the output? Or do you want to just keep skill building and you don't care about output? That's equally as valid.
Well, if I'm gonna be honest, I do upload quite a bit. Like I'm literally on Ableton like all the time. So, if I would to just make a beat and when I'd finished, I'd just call it a day. Like, and then I just upload it to SoundCloud and see how people like it.
Oh,
that sort of
nice.
thing.
That's great. What's
Yeah.
your SoundCloud name? Shout it out so people can go find you.
I am. All right, hang on. Shall I just link it in the chat or something? Would that be easier?
You should just type your artist name in the chat because it will block links and I can't make it unblock links.
Okay.
Artist
right.
name dropping in the chat. I'm gonna put up a red flag though and say if you can't say your artist name, then you might want something catchier.
Yeah, I can say it actually. Like I only started dropping on SoundCloud like the other day. I released
The other
an EP.
day, wow.
Yeah, I have been doing it for a long time, but I kind of scrapped everything, started from scratch, that sort of thing, and then I just went with it, I guess, and made an EP called Looking Back Volume 1, and it's just like trip hop, lo-fi, that sort of thing.
Awesome. It sounds like you have a very clear, like, you have an ambition, like you're putting stuff out. I love that. Are you Pickle Rick in the chat?
Yes.
Love that. Yes. All right. So prod user, and you got like you said is it like a concept like EP? Like, because you've got like a title for it. I wonder, like, are all the tracks connected? What was your thinking for putting out that release?
Well, really, it was just experimenting with different samples. Like I tried a lot of jazzy type samples, that type of thing, and but with my one of my favorite tracks that I made, Long Road Ahead, and the trip hop version. Well, that was just me messing around in the piano, and I came up with this really cool like blues jazzy melody, and then I guess the idea just kind of escalated into this really cool like lo-fi thing, and yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. So do you like, because you've got like this whole release stuff going on, you're already putting stuff out. I just wonder, like, how are you going to push yourself? I know you talk about getting the new gear, but like, how do you plan on pushing yourself to do more in 2022?
Well, I was just thinking about this earlier, but like I think it's really important in music to have confidence in yourself and to have someone that you idolize, because that's really important in music. Because if you have no one to idolize, you don't get all that confidence building up inside you, telling you to make more music like that person.
Right.
And well, I guess if you have someone to idolize, that kind of gives you that sense of what you want to make in the future.
You are 100% right. And I will say, I have been watching lately, literally in the past few days, I have been feeling that same thing, because when I first started out, like I had very clear, like people who inspired me, like producers or artists that I wanted to be like. And I sort of have lost that a little bit over the past year or so. Like, I don't know, for one reason or another, just the different kinds of music that I've been listening to. But I've actually been going back and watching some older Grimes interviews and Grimes performances, because she's an artist that really, really inspired me when I first started. And it's just refreshing to go back and watch some of that stuff. Some interviews like that I've obviously seen already, and some that I watched like years ago when I was first starting. Like you just said it, articulated it really well. Like having somebody that inspires you is like really helpful to push and like give you like an end goal. Like you don't want to recreate like what that artist does exactly, but like at least you can see the results and you can see their creative approach, things like that.
Yeah. But I just think it's like really, really important to have someone that you look up to, because like if you have no one to look up to, that's kind of different, because that means that you can kind of flow your own unique style, and then like if you get popular, like when in the future, then that means people can have you to idolize.
Yeah, for sure. You're 100% right. So I wonder what artist is inspiring you right now. Like, who are you looking towards?
Well, there are multiple people, but the main ones, because I'm a multi-genre type person. I like a lot of different music.
Same.
But go check out Genesis. I can't really link him, but he has like kind of weird format for his name, and I just put it in the chat. But
perfect.
He has some like really, really cool stuff on his SoundCloud. Like he's so underrated. The dude is amazing, and he's inspired me a lot with this stuff, actually. Now this one's kind of an obvious one, because whoever likes bass music will obviously idolize Skrillex.
Yes.
And literally one track, it definitely gave me a lot of confidence back then, and it's quite not old, I would say, but it was uploaded a year ago. But I really like that style, and I think he should do more. But it's the song Cliptown Imperium. I really like that. It was just amazing.
You got that, chat? Somebody type that out, or you type that out in chat, Casper, so we have all that. And we can catch that all. I'll make a suggestion to you. If you like bass music and you like kind of that harder, like electronic style, check out this artist I've been really into lately. Her name is Tsunami, TSU space NAMI. She has like a really cool live set on YouTube. It's kind of like a boiler room style set, and she's just dope. So check out her and her music, because it's cool. Right. Just because you pointed some of that out. But that was awesome. Thank you for that inspiration and, pointing us towards, that advice of we need somebody to aspire to be. I think that's 100% correct.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that.
Anytime.
Yeah. And
I'll probably might be able to see you next week, but hopefully, because it was really cool. It's really cool talking to like an inspiration to me, and I kind of just got a bit nervous when I joined the meeting, but
no worries.
Yeah, that's really cool of you. Thank you.
Hey, I appreciate you calling in, and I hope we can talk again soon.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good luck. Good luck with the new gear, by the way, for Christmas.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
See ya.
All right, I saw Joe in the chat. Is that correct? Whoa, Ricky Tinez in the chat says, "Miss you, bro. Keep up the dope work." Enrique, you did not have to super chat. You could have just chatted that. But thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. I miss you as well. I was looking like things would go back to normal and maybe we could have linked up at some point, but you know, things are flaring up again. So who knows what will happen. But thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Obviously, if you all don't know, go follow Enrique's channel. That's Ricky Tinez in the chat right there. Lots of very cool, chill videos. I aspire to be Enrique's level of chill. That's for sure. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Last call of today is with Rashane. Rashane is going to call. Well, I'm connecting with Rashane right now. Anyway, we've talked to Rashane before. You all know Rashane. Channel member, active community member. Hello, Rashane. How are you?
Good. Trying to mute you on the stream. There it is.
Nothing worse than hearing myself. I'll tell you that much. Thank you for calling in. How are you? How have you been doing? It's been a while since we chatted.
Yes. Yeah, I've been good. Busy, end of the year stuff with work and life stuff.
Yeah, I feel that. Like end of the year stuff is like a rat race, right? It's like just get it all done. Awesome. Well, how reflect on your 2021? How was the year for you musically? I know you were putting in a lot of work and you were submitting to the track, to the challenges and the feedback stuff. I know you're putting out a lot and putting in a lot of work. So like reflect, how do you feel about how 2021 went for you?
Yeah, I've done a couple of the challenges on your stream /343 Labs and then the 80-star producer challenges this year, and those have been really helpful as far as like met a lot of new friends through those things and building up my own production skills, because the challenges really push you to like do something you wouldn't have done and then like bring your own aesthetic to it at the same time.
Right.
So it's really good from like week to month or week to week when I was doing them. Really grew a lot through that. Putting out more of my music just through the challenges alone has been helpful to like just grow myself, meet other producers, did a few track submissions through you as well, and then when 343 Labs was doing them on stream, anything where I felt like I got to submit and my stuff was demoed or got some feedback was, I think, one of the top highlights to grow this year for myself.
Totally. Yeah, you went hard in taking advantage of that. So like I just want to shout that out because a lot of people don't put themselves out there like that, and seeking feedback is like really, really important for growth. Like we all don't have to be in it on our own, so like shout out to you for like taking advantage of that. And like obviously you grew a lot this year, probably a bit as a result of getting that feedback and just learning and growing.
Yeah, I would say like the key takeaways from that was like, like I got to get the feedback. I also got to, I guess, produce quicker because it made, since I was time boxed, like, it forced me to find the right sounds. I was looking for a little faster, come up with ideas a lot faster.
Yeah.
Just so I could get something done enough to submit.
Totally. And just that little push can help you because you have to retrain your brain how to work once you start figuring those things. Once there's like an actual like pressure point, then you have to, just work differently. And you only learn how to do that once you kick into that gear,
Yeah.
So how about 2022? What are you thinking?
For the new year, definitely I plan to release like music on Spotify and stuff. I feel like now, I've been working on tracks all year, and then didn't get to submit anything to Spotify. They just weren't like done enough to me. But now that things are feeling in a better place, for sure in 2022 they're gonna come out. And then I did Beattober this year and like made videos, so starting to build up a YouTube channel in the new year as well.
Awesome.
Or like the two focuses and like putting out more producer content and then releasing my own music, because like I guess one of the overarching goals is to like make some money off my music, and that can come in either from anywhere really, but I just have to put out the music in order for like to achieve that goal. So
of course,
really
like that's
just,
the
getting things done.
first step, that important first step, get it out there.
Yeah, and then I'll figure out how to monetize after it's out there.
That's the thing, right? Like, it's like, get the machine running, and then it's like you own a factory, right? Like you own a factory, but you got to get everything up and running before you can start selling any like products or anything, right? So start running things, let people notice, like, dang, that's a pretty well functioning factory over there that makes pretty cool stuff. And then once people start to like notice that, and you're able to, you take on work, or you start, you know, getting paid for what you're putting out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a huge goal for a lot of people, is starting to monetize. And, you know, as artists, our work is worth something. I'm not afraid to say it.
Very true.
I think everybody should know that our work is worth something. It's tricky in the modern age, just to not be stuck in an old music industry mindset, though. Like, music is definitely worth something, but nobody's really paying $25 for an album anymore, and people aren't even paying 99 cents for a track anymore. So what are all the ways that you can monetize that are different than people just paying to listen to one track? You know what I mean? Like, we have to be entrepreneurial and creative in that way, in the ways that we decide to monetize. And there are lots of options out there, obviously, but just always have that entrepreneurial mindset. What can you actually put out? What can you market that people are going to lay down some money for? Not in a salesy, greedy kind of way at all, but just in a way that, like, you're an artist, you want to put something out that can sustain you. So what are those things? That's what we all have to think about. It's a constant evolving thing too. It's not just one thing.
Yeah, it's very true. There's so many, even in the last year alone, or since 2020, since we've, like, you know, the way of working and living has shifted. There's so many more ways to make money in this industry now.
Absolutely, without a doubt. Well, I know you have big goals and aspirations for yourself, so I'm excited to hear that 2022, you're going from somewhat of a, we'll always be in a learning phase, but like, you're going from somewhat of a building learning phase to more of like an output phase, which I think is very exciting. That's where things start to get interesting.
Yeah. I think the theme of 2022 for me is like more output. And yeah, I would say off top of mind, the only building thing I can think of now is like bring stuff to a little bit of more completion, like when I'm working on stuff. Right. I feel like for workflow, just like leaving things in a more like finished state than sometimes I do. Just so like when I come back to it, like it's easy to pick back up.
That is a constant push. It's like right when you feel like you're done with a project, or you feel like, at least not done, but you feel like walking away, you have to push that one extra like 10 to 15 minutes just to get it to a place where, okay, next time I pick that up, I'm like setting myself up for success. You know, like so I think that's like a marker of like, if you're closing your project and you feel like, yep, closing it done, and you don't have that second thought of like, what's the one last thing I can do to push myself for these last 10 minutes to make my life easier in the future? I think that's like a red flag or something to think about. It obviously won't always be the case, but I for sure have felt that.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It could be as easy as like, oh, I'm working in session view, let me just get this on the timeline really quick. Or like, even if you're working on the arrangement view, like, oh, let me just build out this section really quick that I didn't build out yet, or whatever it may be. Like,
yeah, I find that helps, because more of the time I do start in arrangement view in Ableton. So yeah, just kind of more setting up a very basic like intro, A section, maybe a B section if I already have some ideas, and kind of like leaving it like that. Yeah. So I know like, oh, this is what I was thinking, and when I come back to it in the future.
Yeah. And then, or even if you don't have the B section, or if you don't have a bridge or something, setting up your arrangement in a way that has a blank space in it, not just like an open-ended arrangement, but like an arrangement that has like, okay, you have the beginning of your song pretty much done. Then there's this 1 minute section that you need to come up with something new for, but then it's going to go back to the A section later. Leaving that 1 minute in the middle blank, but building everything else after it lets you have blanks to fill in. You know what I mean? Like, I do that a lot. Like, I oftentimes can't come up with like a bridge or like just even a contrasting section in the same session that I came up with the main content. So what I'll do is I'll chart it out on the arrangement view, and I'll leave whatever it is, 16, 32 bars blank in the arrangement, so that when I come back to it, I have a clear gap that I need to fill in. There's a beginning, there's a blank middle, and then there's an end, and I just got to fill in that blank middle. That way it's not like totally open-ended, like where the hell is this track even going, you know?
Okay, that's helpful. Yeah.
Like a sandwich, but you only have the bread. You're like, I'm going to sit down and I only have bread, so I'm just going to get the bread ready, and then I'll figure out what goes in the middle later. You know, that's kind of what it is. But that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited
to that's a good way to look at that.
I'm excited to hear what you put out, and then also I'm excited for your YouTube channel. I'm excited to see what kind of content you end up making.
Yeah, I'm gonna start. I've been organizing, and I'm gonna use like the time between now and New Year's Eve to like start making some videos and hit January, the ground running in January with like putting out videos.
That's awesome. And just think about yourself getting ahead, you know, like if you do that and you batch a bunch of content, you can kind of take the pressure off yourself in the future too, you know, like, oh, I'll make all these videos now and then I'll be set for however long. But that means like in the meantime, I can make the next batch and not feel as much pressure, so I can make them the best that I can make them, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That is the way to go. That's awesome, Rashane. Well, I hope you have a happy holiday and a happy new year. And I can't wait to see what 2022 brings for you.
Yeah, you too. And same for you. Looking forward to where the community is going in the new year. Yeah, it's been great. It's been growing a lot for people who aren't in the Discord. Definitely welcome you to come join.
Totally. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Well, see you later, Rashane. Have a great holiday. Happy New Year, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Have a good one. Oh, that's it for calls today, chat. What did we think of the 404? Now, I did take off the Raichu sticker. I don't want to block too much of the text. I don't want to do much in the core here because that's going to be a functional problem for me. Maybe one day I can do more. I could get a custom plate done. Roland did offer it, which was very, very nice of them, but I just didn't have my stuff together. And I could also... I know some places make custom skins. I might make a custom one that's like watercolor or whatever. But what's nice about this faceplate is like you can just, I think, get other plates to swap off, which is better than stickers. Like the sticker approach is fine, but you can get some plates made that have the text above the graphic. That way you don't have to cover up any text. Max Isolated Vocals says maybe more rosé. We have 3 rosés on here, which I'm pretty sure I have Lisa stickers. I'm pretty sure I just have other stickers, but I don't know where they are. So I didn't want to go too crazy. I do like the look of the rosé. I really like the Sabak. I really like the Grimer. The Sleeping Pikachu, like that's just lo-fi goodness right there. But I like having them on the edge. It would be nice if I had something linear that could go at the top. But for now, I think this is pretty good. I hope you all enjoyed this final call-in stream of the year. I'll just say I really enjoyed this year. Thank you all so much. We've seen a lot of growth over the past year as a community. A lot of people are putting out some of the best music that they've ever made. I feel like I'm putting out some of the best music that I've ever made. So I tried to lead by example in that way. I'm not going to say it was like a perfect year and that I accomplished literally everything that I want to accomplish, but I feel good about this past year, this past 2021. You know, this was the year that we started streaming, that we started to form this community. And I'm very grateful for that because this has been a totally new way to connect. And I feel more connected to all of you, whether it's through call-in shows or just having you all show up regularly as like members or just show up in chat, even if you're not a member. It's a different way of connecting than the YouTube comments. And you all know how it goes with some of these YouTube comments. So I appreciate you all. We're on to bigger and better things next year, of course. Over the holiday, I will be traveling back home. So if you want to keep up with me, I'll have some videos coming out. Or I'll at least be editing. I don't know what will come out over the next week or so. But keep an eye on the channel. Watch the Ghost Beat Diaries if you haven't yet. Also watch the latest music theory installment video if you haven't yet. There's a Skillshare link in that video. If you click that, it would help the channel a lot. Click it, sign up for a free 30 days or whatever. That helps a lot. What was I going to say? Keep up with me on Instagram and Twitter though. Like that's where I'm going to be mostly over the break and vacation. Obviously, because I can't post so much on YouTube if I'm not at home or I can't stream. So if you do want to keep up with me, Instagram.com/TAETRO, at Nick TAETRO on Twitter. The links are in the description though. You can find them there. Not a Skillshare course, Max. It's just like a free Skillshare premium link on my latest music theory video. Which, by the way, if you look at the music theory series as a course, it's like a 2-hour music theory for beginners course. Something to think about. It's basically a free course. People always ask me, do a course, do this, do that. Guess what? My entire channel is a free course. I don't know what to tell you. Do you want me to just put my videos into a package that I can sell for $99? I just don't feel like that would be productive. But yeah, head to the channel. Make sure if you turn notifications on, it also helps because the video's performance in the first 24 hours really helps. So thank you all. Follow me on Instagram for more updates over this break. I hope everybody has a safe and happy holiday with family, surrounded by family and friends. I hope everybody can do something a little bit musical. And I hope everybody, if you didn't have time to call in today, that's fine. Think about your goals for 2022 and we'll talk again really soon. Okay? So I did post a Twitter thread, by the way. I said, everybody post your 2022 goals, New Year's resolutions, etc. So if you didn't want to call in or whatever, if you want to just add to that thread on Twitter, I'll see it there. So that will be cool. Ed, thank you for that super chat. I appreciate it. If you ever have an LA hangout, STK is moving here too in January. He'll be here for a while. Maybe one day we'll have like a LA meetup or something. I would love to start something new in 2022, some kind of collective or something. We have a collective here, right? But something else. But thank you for that super chat, Ed. You didn't have to do that. Enjoy holiday break, everybody. I hope you're all well. Good luck to everybody, and we'll talk soon. Instagram and Twitter is the place to find me. Hope you like the 404. Just take one last look. I think it came out pretty good. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. 343labs.com. If you do need a course, if you think about taking the plunge, that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. This has been TAETRO. Have a good one.